everybody, welcome along to the Monkey Barrel Comedy Chat Show. I'm your host, George Fox, and every week we have a wonderful guest comedian visiting Monkey Barrel Comedy, and we sit down with them, ask them a few questions, get to know them a little bit better. And this week we have a wonderful guest. It's Celya AB.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. We just had a nice chat about Mario Kart for a while there, and we got really excited.
Yeah, we sang the whole song.
We did, and we tested some of our younger production crew, and they had no idea what was going on.
No, we really much like alienated each other from the rest of the team.
Yeah, but I appreciate that you were like the N64 era. That's the real Mario Kart.
Yeah, like I remember the N64 with that in the James Bond one.
Oh yeah,
I love that James Bond one.
I loved it so much, and it was better than the movie. It was the first game that was better than a movie, and I was like, I could watch the movie and I would not even be enjoying the story. I'd just be like, I know that multiplayer level. I know that level.
Did you
I got the golden gun there.
Splinter Cell?
Yeah, Splinter Cell.
Do you know the three lights that he's
like
got? I've always thought like he's meant to be undercover, but he's like. It's like, what do people say in the UK? Don't they say like it's like the bloody Blackpool illuminations?
But he would always like spread his legs and like sit on the ceiling. Like he'd have himself perched above. But then these three green lights that would always in the adverts, the lights were always going.
Yeah.
They were making such a loud noise.
Also, talking about being on the ceiling like that, I really thought that every adult could do it when I was a kid. I was sad to find out that like it's only me that can do it.
It's almost impossible to do.
It's so hard.
It's such a weird thing for him to be like, I'm a secret agent and I go undercover and also I'm a world-class gymnast as well. These are the things that you gotta do. James Bond never does that. You never see James Bond whip out a pirouette out of nowhere and oh my God.
I've always thought like the James Bond drink that he has, where is it shaken not stirred? I've always thought like about the bartender that's like, fucking hell.
Specific, mate.
Sir, this is a Wetherspoons.
It's really specific. It's really it's so specific. It's like, put in, make me a martini, but don't let the drink touch the ice.
Yeah, like that's such a man thing to do. Like,
yeah, I bet most of his drinks that he gets are stirred.
Yeah, 100%.
100% stirred.
Like, was he like? Is he like logging them into MyFitnessPal and he has to?
I love the idea of Q being like, this wonderful thing, James, and it counts your calories throughout the day. It's wonderful. This is your blood glucose leveled. He's just got a little tab thing.
You haven't logged today, James.
It's a lot of sugar all at once, James. You're not going to sleep tonight.
If every day was like this, you would weigh. Yeah, I use MyFitnessPal. We're sponsored, okay?
Yeah. That's why he's always hooking up with people and sleeping with people, because he can't sleep at night. He's so wired from the sugar.
Yeah, he can't sleep. We've cracked it.
Yeah, we figured it out. James Bond, not a happy guy.
1 minute in, we've cancelled James Bond.
If you look at James Bond's diary, you're like, man, you need to go to a doctor.
This guy's fucked, man.
I think you've got a gluten intolerance. He keeps eating bread, and then a big part of it's like 2 hours in the bathroom again.
Yeah, I mean the idea of like, did you see the last James Bond? Not the last one. The last one I saw was one with okay, it's either Daniel Craig or Craig David.
Oh, it's Daniel Craig. Craig David is the 7
one
days.
Day.
One day. But it's similar. Maybe that's how Daniel Craig sings those songs. Monday, eat a lot of bread and sit in the toilet. Then I had a lot of sugar. I had to hook up with a lady because I couldn't go to sleep then.
That's so good.
Thank you. It really was.
I think, is that an original? No, I think the last James Bond that I saw was with Daniel Craig, and it's so funny because there's a scene in it that I remember where he is underwater and he manages to untie himself and save someone and stuff.
Yeah.
He manages to do all of that. But then I think like the next scene, he can't open a bottle or something. It's so funny. Anyways.
They never have a consistency between all of the movies as well.
100%. Yeah.
Like it's always just like in one movie you'll see him do something perfect, like he'll parachute out, and the next one is like, I don't know how a parachute works. And like, come on, watch the other movies. I did like how I think it was Roger Moore would do them, and then he got to a certain point where he realized he was the oldest James Bond, and he was just like, I think I'm just going to stop doing stunts. He's like, I think I'm just going to make the movies funnier. Like they're all just him being kind of cranky.
That's so funny. It's like when how Hugh Grant went from being like the handsome British guy to now he's just a grumpy guy.
He's a grumpy guy, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, every interview with him, he's like, I hate this. I hate it so much.
I actually hate Paddington. I didn't even know it was a movie being filmed. I was just there trying to get one over on Paddington. I think the little shit should be in jail.
That's so funny.
Where did he get that hat and jacket from? Clearly stole it from a child.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Makes you think.
They don't make them for bears.
I have a question about Paddington.
Yes.
No, actually, I've just answered it myself. The bear came after the station, right?
Yes.
It's called,
yes.
yeah.
So he gets to Paddington Station and they just, in a really offensive immigrant scenario, they just go, what's your name? And he says it in bear talk and they go, I'm just going to call you Paddington.
It's like if my name was Birmingham. Celya A Birmingham.
Okay. What, the train station I arrived on? That's what you write down? What an insane thing.
My name is Birmingham International.
How many Paddingtons are there in that town around that train station that the guy just keeps going like, well. And he's also not doing immigration checks properly. If he's like, you don't have a name or a passport, well, we'll just call you Paddington.
Yeah, it wasn't like that when I moved in. Let me tell ya.
So we like to find out how people kind of got started in comedy. When did you kind of start? When was your first experience of starting comedy? Or even better, do you remember your first joke that you wrote? It can be in comedy or it can just be in life, your first kind of big hitter joke.
So so I've been writing jokes for myself when I was a kid and a teenager. I used to have little joke books and I used to be, I think I never used to share them with anybody, but I used to like
yours.
Yeah, I kind of.
You read them like.
It was like, do you know how like Guns N' Roses has Chinese democracy to take ages to release it?
They'd written that like 10 times over.
Yeah, that was like my jokes about quiche. No, but like as a kid, I used to write them because I think I used to read a lot of cartoons and stuff but they were cartoons for adults, so they had jokes in it. That weren't just like, and the bunny says this. It was like they were like actual proper jokes. I didn't get a lot of them, but the ones I got, I thought it was like magic.
Yes.
Like I just couldn't, like the fact that you could like move words around and get a different effect was like, it was magical to me. And so I used to write them for myself. So I can't remember the first joke I wrote, but I did remember the other day a joke that my mom used to make that I think infused my type of humor. So my mom used to do a joke where if we were cleaning a window and used newspaper, right? Mm-hmm. And then the window goes, ee, 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 right? Do you know that?
Yes.
And my mum used to do a joke, which would be, oh, this is the dirt crying.
Like, such a mum joke.
Such a mum joke. And I remembered it the other day and I was like, fuck, all my tastes are like that in comedy. It's just like weird, stupid stuff. And I don't remember my first joke, but I've always loved them. I think the first where I got into comedy was I didn't really think I would ever do it, but I liked stand-up. I liked watching it.
Yeah.
I used to watch some French stand-up and some American stand-up, not a lot of British or Scottish.
Mm-hmm. Feels like a read right there.
Yeah.
Like, not for me.
I just didn't know that you guys had that. Because France was very much like we skipped this entire island in terms of culture, except for music. And I met someone when I was living in Birmingham who was a comic and who told me that I should do it and helped me like gave me a few ideas for gigs and stuff to apply. And I thought I would do it once just to see.
Yeah. Well, I think that's how most people go, like, I'll try it once and just kind of see.
Yeah. And I think like, because I used to be, and I've never had like I've always been kind of envious of people who were natural on stage straight away.
Yeah.
Like I was very, very shy on stage. I hated being up there for the first 2 years.
Yeah. Oh my God. Same.
Right.
Absolutely hated it. Like,
because it's hard. It's scary.
Yeah. It's terrifying. And you're trying to figure out ways to control it. And so much of it is out of your control. You don't know how many people are going to be there. You don't know the mood. You don't know who's on before you. You don't know who's hosting.
Yeah.
You don't know if someone's going to heckle. It's terrifying.
And you don't know how you feel that day. That also informs how you like perform. And
if you're James Bond or Danny Craig, you don't know if you've eaten gluten.
Exactly.
You're going to be sick.
Like I've always felt like I've always been envious of people who are like maybe people who have done acting before and who are just very comfortable. So it took me a good 2 years, but the first time I did it, I got such a high from getting a laugh, and I didn't stopped thinking about it for 3 weeks, and then I just kept doing it. And then it's one of those things where like you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, then it becomes your job, and then you're like, oh yeah, I guess I do this now.
Yeah.
I guess.
And then I'm sure you had a point where you took like maybe a break for 2 or 3 weeks, and you suddenly realized that like, oh God, I need this. It's like it is a little drug that you kind of need.
Well, it's that thing. It is for the brain, right?
Yeah,
like whenever I take a break, I realize like how violent those emotions are actually. Like the adrenaline that you get. Like last night I did my first gig back after Christmas with you, and I couldn't sleep because of the adrenaline.
Yeah.
And like I think that's like, I very quickly went into gigging as much as I could. I've always gigged 4 or 5 nights a week, not because like it's not like you have to work hard. It's more like it took me a long time to be comfortable, and I knew I needed to.
And
just
also to figure out your voice and figure out how you are on stage. I feel like that's something. I remember talking to somebody who was new in comedy, and they were like, "Oh, I feel like every time I'm going on stage, I'm trying different stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's your first 2 or 3 years. How do you do that? Try everything and see what works, what you connect with, what is your voice. Like, you're not going to 10 years in start randomly doing new stuff and trying to figure that out. Do it now."
Yeah, because I think also it's that thing of so I used to do music before I did this, which is my brother was in a band, and I used to play, and we used to have like, this was what I thought I would do. And the thing is with music is that you practice in private, so you get to practice and practice and practice until you're ready to show it to people. But with comedy, it's like every day. It's like if you could only learn the guitar in front of an audience.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And also, if you're playing in a band, there's other people on stage with you. It's just you.
Yeah, practicing,
and you're singing.
A, G. Like, you're just figuring it out. And
some people are just like, oh, this seems like a great song that other people love, but I particularly specifically hate this.
Yeah.
And you can just have that. You can just have a show where someone's like, I hate guitar.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay.
100%.
I don't know why you came here.
And that's why I think I've put so much value in like if I speak to someone who's just starting doing stand-up. Also, I think I should say that when I started, and when I'm sure you've started, and the people of sort of our generation, we started before putting clips online was like the norm. So that meant that we got to get better in the shadow, without any pressure.
Which I think there's a benefit to that. There's a benefit to getting better and finding your voice, so that when you come out and you present yourself, you're like, this is me.
Yeah.
Whereas people, if they've watched you slowly get better, they can just have already set you in a space in their mind. It's like, this is what you are.
I hope people don't do that, because I think I kind of respect the new system at the same time, but I'm very grateful that I didn't have to do that starting up. Like, I'm very, very grateful.
Especially like taking like tough gigs, and you're like, well, I have to put a clip up this week. It's Thursday, and those gigs were awful. Yeah. I got to find 17 seconds from that gig 100%, to put up.
Yeah.
That's stressful.
Yeah. So that's when how I got started, and now it's going to be 8 years in February.
Oh, wow. And so do you find you write differently than you did back then?
Yeah, I think I'll have a sip of water. Yeah, I think I write differently. I think I've always... That's interesting.
Like, are you one of the comedians? We have had a lot of chat with comics about whether they're the people that like, they have like a flash, and then they have an idea, and then within 5 minutes they've got basically the bit, you know?
Yeah.
And then it'll change over time, but they've got like this solid piece of marble that they're going to chip away with. And then other people, it's slowly layer by layer building it up.
So I think I used to be very much into it just needs to be a flash. Like, I can't fake it. I can't sit down and write. It has to be a flash. And a lot of that will be bad, but like sometimes there's good stuff in there, but it has to be. So like, I'm constantly making notes on my phone. And sometimes it's jokes.
That's a weird, I hope no one looks at this in the future.
It's so like, and sometimes it's jokes, but sometimes it's just observation. Like the other day, I would just make observations about something being... like maybe something being hotter than it should be, or something being like just like weird, like 2 words, two descriptions of something that I could then attach to a joke at one point. Yeah. So it's like it's like a collage.
Or just even like a humorous idea.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I was like, I just wrote down in a note on my phone. I was like, oh, if I'm filming a sketch, I could just film hot water and then drink cold water, and people would think I was drinking the hot water, and I did it in a sketch, and like every comment underneath was like, oh my God, why did you drink that? And I was like, it's two different cups, guys.
I do exactly the same thing, or like writing ideas of what I think would be funny visually, even if it's not in my voice at all, because I do writing for like shows, like not other people's stand-up shows so much, but more like panel shows and stuff. So like if I have this big collection of stuff that I can then dig back and go, okay, so that could work there.
Yeah, that's not my voice. That's not me, but it's funny. Somebody else could do that. I love
writing in other people's voices.
Yeah, like there's a comedian we were gigging with last night, Ryan Cullen, and I came to him, was like, "Hey, I thought of a joke, Ryan. That's very much you," and I did it, and he's just like, "I hate it." He was like, "Don't ever do that again." I was like, but it's exactly like you would say a joke. And he's like, you even did my accent at me. And I went, well, I have to sell it, Ryan.
I love that. Like, I imagine someone writing for me and going, boo, 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 boo.
I was like, Ryan, just take the weirdness out of it. Is it a good bit? And he's like, I still hate it.
But I do find that like the way you write changes when you start doing hour-long shows. Like, I think it's like I'm just learning to make shows. I'm on my third show. And I think I really like, this is going to sound maybe weird, I like failing in order to get better. So I like trying lots and lots of different stuff.
Yeah.
And then...
if I have like 3 bad gigs in a row with a piece of material, but then that 4th one, I click it and then that's it. It's good from then on.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, oh, it's 3 gigs. I feel like that's what it took to realize, to figure out what people's interest was, what they were into in that.
Yeah, and what you want to stick to as well. Yeah. Like what's like your, like, because... you know, you could be doing a bit that like you really like and that some audiences have really liked, and then you do it in a place that doesn't like it. Yeah, that doesn't mean you should drop the bit. It's just I think
maybe not for that place. Yeah. Even that thing, I think we all do that thing where we have like a piece of material for a show, for like an hour-long show, but you have a different version of that when you're doing a club set. Yeah. So it's like having like this is the radio edit. Yes. And then here's the full album version of that song.
100%. Yeah. It's like the
it's interesting. You think it would mess up the joke, but you're just like, nah, they're just different vibes. Like sitting with me for an hour and sitting with me for 20 minutes, there's different ways 100%. To tell a story.
I think if people are here for you as well, they're so much more forgiving.
Oh yeah.
And I think like I think I've always been into longevity in terms of any sort of like career. So I've always found it fun, this bit of like the first sort of 10 years. I've always like we said, it's like trying stuff.
Just figuring it out. And then eventually,
also I started when I was 21. I'm approaching 30 now. I'm a different person than when I started anyway. So like
literally every 7 years, every atom in your body changes. Yeah. So you're at the point now where you're a completely different person.
Exactly. I'm all full of new atoms, baby.
Brand new comedy atoms.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's like also your voice will naturally change. And if you start at 21, you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm just figuring out who I am. I'll figure it out in the next 10 years, I reckon.
Yeah. So but then you figure it and you're like, but the world has changed. Now I need to figure it out again. Like I feel like you're always chasing the horizon.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good answer for that first question. We have, now that you're settled in, you're relaxed, it's time to unrelax you with the social media time machine. We've jumped back in time. We've pulled an Instagram post from your past. We're going to bring it up on the screen right now.
Okay. I didn't know this was part of it.
Oh, no one ever does. And some of these pictures get deleted the second the podcast is over. But so for people who are listening on Spotify or wherever you get your audio podcasts, this is you and another person, and they have a big wad of dollars. I think it's dollars, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is me and the comedian Rhys James.
Rhys James, okay.
We've just been to a cash machine.
It looks like you've paid for the Wi-Fi password in the background there. Like, all right, we got the money for the Wi-Fi.
And I love the fact that you have no context for this picture. Yeah. This is so funny. It's going to be so disappointing when you know about the context.
Oh, they always are. We got a picture. Who was it? Who was pointing a gun at a dog? Was it Stuart Laws? We're like, what was going on? Stuart was like, I had a prop dog. I had a real dog and a prop gun, or a real gun and a prop dog. Either way, I pointed one at the other.
I think he was covering up a story there. Yeah. I think it was taking agency.
Well, this very much looks like a caught in the act story right here. This looks like it's criminality for sure.
So this is a picture from me and So Ivor Graham Books used to do, I think it's still going, a thing called Comedians DJ Battle, which started at the Edinburgh Fringe.
That's very
and
nice.
This was one.
You know, I've heard about this new show in the future that might be coming out called Comedians Mario Kart Battle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we just heard of that. We just heard of that.
That's out there.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
So like, it would be teams of comedians competing against other teams, and me and Reese were the very first guinea pigs for the game.
Oh yeah.
Me, Ivor, and Reese were gigging in, what's that part of England? The one with Ipswich and stuff. Is that it's not Essex. I don't really know. That bit of
UK
the world.
people here.
We don't really know that bit of the world. We were there. We're doing some gigs there, and on the car we started playing this game. And anyway, this was cut to like a couple years later. This is us at a club in London competing together. Our team name was À la Piscine. And in order to try and win, we'd got loads of fake money, some bubble guns, had a choreography.
Oh my God.
And we made it to the second round, and then didn't want to get through the third one because it was 3 a.m. So we sacrificed ourselves and played the bad
That's
song.
a class move.
That's what I will say. Not that the other team was better. I will say that we committed seppuku. That's what happened.
You're like, look, I'm not 21 anymore. I'm tired and I want to go home.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, and this is probably one of the most recent ones that we've had from someone. Some of them go back, a lot of them come from like 2020 when people were having mental breakdowns, a lot of bread being baked.
Very scared of the next one.
But no, this one's good. This is a good memory. All right. You've explained it. Would you keep that picture up?
Yeah.
Good.
I love that picture.
Good. It's a proud picture. Sometimes they're not proud. And I like also the comment of dignity, decorum, poise.
Yeah.
Well, we have some questions for you from last week's guest.
Yeah.
Last week's guest was Tiff Stevenson. And Tiff has sent in 3 questions for you, sent in little clips. So we're going to take a look at that right now.
Hi, Celia. 3 questions for you for the podcast. I held up 2 fingers, but it will be 3 questions. The first one is, which cartoon or animated character do you feel sums you up the best and why? Second question, a bit more of a classic. If you could choose whether to be able to fly or breathe underwater, which would it be? Third question is, New Year's Eve, you're hosting the party. What cocktail are you serving?
Great.
And why?
Fantastic.
That's great.
Thank you, Tiff.
Thank you so much, Tiff. Obviously, if you're watching the podcast and you haven't watched the Tiff, watch the Tiff episode and also give Tiff a follow. Wonderful comedian. So, Tiff had 3 questions for you. But before we get to that, we do like to ask our guests, how long do you think it took Tiff to send in that? Because we know what comedians are like. Comedians sometimes will take a while.
That's
and
so funny.
It's so great. We've had somebody sent it in within 20 minutes. Somebody took 2 weeks one time because we had a little break. So it's how long from the range of it being sent. And Claire, how long was that sent? What is the range of that between when did you send the message to now?
Can I guess?
Can we guess?
Oh, yeah,
like not saying the answer. I'm asking you for the range. Like, was it between 0 seconds and you could say when you sent the email was a certain amount of time? No? Okay, we're good. You have a guess.
I'll try and get, when did Tiff record the episode?
So it was a week ago. Normally it would be 7 days would be the answer. Would be between 7 days. But I just wanted to make sure, because I know last week you'd sent one maybe just 20 minutes before. You sent the message 20 minutes before. Yes.
I'm going to say
5 days ago.
5 days ago. Now we get it. We get it. The way you looked at me there, Claire. Do we have Claire's microphone on? I wish people at home could see the scorn. And you kept doing this. Kept looking at you like, I'm going to ruin the game. I know how the game works.
I reckon, so this was filmed late at night. I think I'm going to say this was recorded, I want to say Crazy Talk last night.
Last night, so that would have been 4 days.
Did I get it right?
Did you get it right?
Yeah.
Amazing. There is no prize, but well done.
Yes. I'm so happy
It's kind of nice, just feeling, interesting.
That feels great.
I feel like we should have done the Top Gear thing where we have like the list of how long it took comedians. But that feels like we're shaming people.
I feel like I could get a golden buzzer.
It feels like we're attacking people with ADHD when we do that. So I don't know if it's fair.
No, I think we give it away. I know Tiff is a gigging comic, so I reckon she recorded that after her gig last night.
Yeah,
which
that's
was
in the
Friday.
car as well. We get a lot of car
in
ones.
the car. Yeah. which I respect. And I will be recording mine on the train, on the LNER.
I think there's only one we ever got where the person said they'd done, I think this was the 6th take, which was fantastic.
That's so funny.
So question number 1 was, which cartoon or animated character do you feel sums you up the best and why? That's hard.
I have to think about this.
I mean, if I was going to pick one, I think, do you ever remember the cartoon Rocko's Modern Life?
No.
He was just this little Australian wallaby in a little shirt, and he was just like, "Oh, life is miserable."
Oh.
but he's fun. He's
Is that
fun
for
with
me
it.
or for you?
That's for me.
Okay.
That's for me. I felt like Rocko's Modern Life. Or there was no, I remember Courage. Do you remember Courage the Cowardly Dog?
No.
Courage the
Are
Cowardly
these
Dog.
real?
These are real. I'm definitely not making these up. They're not just on a weird Russian channel that I would get in the middle of the night. I was like, everyone knows Borscht the hilarious cat. But yeah, I think
What
Rocko's,
about Courage the Cowardly Dog?
his life was just terrible. I think maybe I just didn't enjoy life as a child, and so I was like,
100%,
oh, okay.
like, mine is going to be so bleak as well.
Yeah, the
like,
bleaker it was, the better I felt.
So I really feel
This also,
two
can I just say, this
options.
also feels like a sociopath test. If you say Bart Simpson, I kick you out of the podcast. Get out of here, you narcissist.
I think I'm gonna say the someone that I relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, two answers.
Interesting.
Two answers.
Let's see if
Number
we'll
one
allow it.
is in the Studio Ghibli film or Ghibli. Does that count as an animated character? Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Studio. I also appreciate you saying Ghibli or Ghibli. I also don't know. And I've watched so many of them, and I still don't know.
I didn't know the podcast where they told me and I forgot. So, I'm taking no information from any podcast.
I went to the musical and they announced the name at the start.
I
and I
wrote
went,
the film and I forgot.
I'm Hayao Miyazaki, and still I don't know. I don't know how to bring it up.
I think it's gonna be. Do you know in Howl's Moving Castle?
Yes.
I think I'm the castle.
Oh, I was in my head. I was like, "Are you gonna say turnip head? Are you gonna say Sophie? Are you gonna say
I think
Calcifer?"
I'm the castle because the castle has got loads of stuff that is taken on,
Yeah.
and some of it is like used and it's just this thing that is functional but made of loads of different experiences and bits.
Yeah.
And
it consistently finds itself in different places. Like, what is a
Yeah.
comedian's life if not that door where the colors swing and you're in a different city?
exactly.
Yeah, that's
and
very.
I'm the castle. Has anyone ever answered that? I don't think.
anyone's ever
The
identified
second-
with the castle from Hell's Moving Castle. But I like it.
The second answer was this might be niche. Did you ever watch Cousin Skeeter?
No. Oh.
It's a sitcom where like everyone is real, but there's one guy who's Cousin Skeeter who is
No.
a puppet.
Oh no.
And that's kind of how I feel sometimes.
Like you're a puppet and everyone else is human.
Like, yeah. I did another podcast today, and Claire accused me of having autism. So this isn't aiding Claire's opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is why we've mic'd up Claire now, everybody. So you can hear the offensive things that we have to put up with when we record this episode.
Yeah, Claire's a really toxic presence.
Really
actually.
toxic president. That's why Ewan is here, because it's just so nice that he
Thank
balances
you.
it out, just whispers
Yeah.
nice things.
Yeah.
Maybe if you ever listen to this in the audio and you hear in the background, you're doing great.
You should see his Twitter.
Drink
though.
some water.
You should see- it's really,
Yeah, he
it's
has his
some really-
outlet as well.
He calls
Don't-
it X. He loves Elon.
Yeah. Don't look up Ewan on Reddit. It's real. Ugh. A lot of Joe Rogan posts.
What was the second question?
So the question was, second question was, if you could choose to fly or breathe underwater, what would you choose? Well, I think we talked about the water temple earlier on from Legend of Zelda being underrated, being needlessly hated.
So this is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Flying. You've opened a portal
Of course.
of questions.
There's a lot. This is like 3 questions in one.
People always bang on about flying would be great,
Yeah.
but flying, does it still take physical effort like
Yeah.
running?
I imagine it would. Yeah.
Right. So that means you
get
have
tired.
to build up your. Like, I don't go running. Why? If flying feels the same as running, I'm not doing it.
Like if you're flying that day, you have to like fill up on protein in the
Yeah,
morning.
because
so you
the most I can fly is 5K.
Yeah.
then like I'll just get the bus then.
But also, are you being affected by physical forces? Like imagine flying through the air at 20 miles per hour and your face is like, and it's freezing cold as well.
Like if I've got to get somewhere, like let's say I'm going to a gig, I'm flying to a gig. I've got my makeup on, I've got my dress on, then I'm just flashing the entirety of London.
And then when you get there, it's all smeared back. You're like, oh God.
So whereas breathing underwater, I can already swim. I like swimming a lot. I also think that it would expand my lung capacity so that I could vape more.
That's great. Oh my God. You can just hold one vape in for hours.
Exactly. I could have a bit of my vape, go underwater.
Oh my God.
Come out with it.
You've removed, like with the flying, things could go wrong. You get tired in the air, you could run into a plane, you could hit a building. There's
100%.
more things to worry about. But if you can breathe underwater, drowning, never a concern.
Yeah.
From now on, you are sorted for life. That's never a worry.
I think and I think also like I think flying would be great, but you can only travel at night. Although it would be fun to be like, to fly. I think I will pick, I couldn't really fly because people would see me as well.
I think you mostly use it just for getting stuff off of tall shelves in your apartment, do you know? And that feels underutilized.
Do you know I've just remembered this. When I was a kid, I had a dream that I could fly, but like just hover.
Yeah.
And I could just fly to the top of a shelf. And for years after, I'm talking years.
Yeah.
Like I remembered that as I used to be able to fly. For years, I was 20 being like, I haven't done that in a while.
I remember I had a dream where there was a crab in our house and my grandfather had to put it in a pot and then cook it. And I was like, we all remember that. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, it was a crab and it had a knife in its hand and Grandad had to fight it and then put it in the pot and then he cooked it. Did we eat it? No, I don't remember that. I then woke up and I was in bed. I must have slept through the delicious meal.
The crab had a knife?
The crab had a knife and they were like jousting. And I was like, that's 100% a real thing. It's a real thing.
A crab couldn't stab you though because they can only go that way.
Yeah. If a crab stabs you, it's your fault.
It'd have to go like this.
Like, you stay there.
You'd really...
Do like a really weird circle around to stab you in the back. I'm pretty sure if a crab stabs you, it's your fault. You chose this. So breathe underwater. That's a good answer. Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
And then the third question was, it's New Year's Eve. You're hosting the party. What cocktail are you serving? That's a lot of pressure. Also, you don't need to worry about drowning, so you can dunk yourself in a tank of that cocktail.
I think the odds of me organizing a party for New Year's Eve are so slim that I think I would. I don't really make cocktails. I'm trying to think of one thing I can make. I tell you what I got really into this year. Just simple Baileys. Got really into Baileys this year. I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah. I feel like that's a part of getting older as well. You like, Baileys is
I'd probably
great.
make a White Russian. I'd probably make because I really like it when drinks taste like sweets. And I'll add like some chocolate on top of it.
Yeah. I had like a rhubarb and custard gin and it was like, it was a special buy in Aldi. I was like, thank God, because I would drink this forever. This is so good.
Have you ever had chocolate Baileys?
No.
I think I've invented that.
This is chocolate with Baileys?
I've had like a differently flavored Baileys.
I did at one point have like a white chocolate Baileys or something and it was disappointing. I really wanted to be nice and it was like, you can't, this is chemicals, I can tell. It's not real white chocolate, I can tell.
I think it'll be like a White Russian and everyone, me included, who has lactose intolerance would be fucked.
That's part of a party. It's like there's probably other cocktails for them. They're not as good.
Yeah.
Like what garnish are you putting on this? Putting a little umbrella? You putting a sparkler sticking out? It's New Year's Eve.
I think I'm putting everyone gets an iPhone 13.
It's your party. You can do what you want. There's no budget limitations for your imagination. Do you know what? Why even have the party? Just have a dream that you had the party and then just decide that was real.
The keys to a Ferrari.
Oh my God, there's Bitcoin in this glass. All right, that's good. Well, we've come to the most serious part of the show, my favorite part of the show. This is a game that we play where we talk about icks. It's called Big Ick Energy. And what we've got is a bunch of cards here. You're going to choose a card randomly. Let me mix these up.
Okay.
You're going to pick a card. And you're going to have an option of 2 icks that are on it.
Okay.
And I'll explain it as we go along. So pick your card first of all, whichever one you want.
Pick one card.
Pick one card from there. And then there you go. So that's yours.
This one.
There you go. You got that. And then let me...
Do you want me to hold them?
I'll just drop that one. There we go. Oh, okay. I hate this already.
Looks like you cheated, mate.
That'll be in the comments now.
like
Clearly cheating. It's rigged. The whole show is
I'm
rigged.
just saying it
There's
how it
no
is.
Ewan. No one's that nice. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to, you've got a choice of 2 icks. I got a choice of 2 icks here. And you're going to choose the one that you think would be an ick for Claire.
Oh, this is fun.
This is really fun. And we've got a microphone for Claire now, so we'll hear Claire's chat as well. So you can first of all tell us the one that you don't want to pick, and we can talk about that, and then we'll compare the ones that we do want to go with.
Okay, so this is the one that I don't want to pick.
Okay.
They insist that Android phone is better than an iPhone. I don't think that's an ick, man. I think that's a conversation starter.
Yeah, that could be breaking the ice with that.
But I'm not very icky. Like people could like I think I don't get the ick easy.
No, I like I'm at that age now where I realize living is ick.
Yeah, 100%.
Life is cringe. It's all that.
Imagine like a couple that's been together 45 years. If they had heard about the ick, like in the 50s, like they're like 45 years and they're like, oh, actually, my husband of 45 years gave me the ick. Like, no, it's just because we have the word for it now.
You're like, oh God.
Yeah.
One time I saw a stranger got a handshake his friend, and my husband stepped in and shook his hand, and now we're divorced. Yeah, I can't be with him.
Exactly. Then says the Android phone is better. I don't think you would pick that, Claire. I don't think that would give you the ick, because I think you would kind of let that comment go, and not. It would be like jazz to you, that comment. I think you would just kind of like pass through, no influence on how you feel about them.
The one I don't think Claire would go for is they refer to themselves as a foodie. I think you'd be all right with that, Claire.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd mind that too much. Yeah, nodding. You're nodding.
Yeah.
We've got a microphone and now you're deciding not talking.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So what's the one that you think is Claire's ick?
You ready, Claire? They reshare motivational quotes on social media.
Oh, I felt that. Oh.
Like, I'm saying that as someone who gave Claire the ick earlier when I talked about gratitude.
Yes.
So this is, I've come with knowledge.
If you give gratitude, Claire gives attitude. That's the way it works. But I like
Repost.
It's the reshare of it as well. It's not even something they've written themselves. They've seen that and gone, oh, I like that. And then reshared it and you're like, oh, God.
What's yours for Claire?
Mine is seeing them run for the train, but the train stays on the platform for another 2 minutes after they sit down. That one we've all experienced. But
Yeah.
I want you to imagine, Claire, you're sitting on the platform, you watch someone running, they get in, and then they just have to sit there for 2 minutes. And you watch a little old lady stroll along and still get on the train and sit down, still have another minute before the train leaves. Is that giving you the ick?
Do I have to stand up?
Okay. Oh, here we go, everyone. We're going to hear from
Standing
Claire on
up.
the podcast. We've got the microphone now. It's very exciting. Which one would you choose out of the two of them?
I think resharing is more icky.
Oh, resharing is more icky. You know what?
Thank you,
I can understand
Claire.
why, because that's one Claire's going to screen grab and look at 10 times over. Like, what the fuck? This is just a moment in time.
Yeah.
So comedians get another point.
Can I give the listeners an advice about train platforms and train departure?
Yes. Absolutely.
You haven't had enough of me. So spent 4 hours together in this room. This boy hates me. Right, get this. If you're ever, I feel like, Claire, you're not getting this. Is this to be universal getting this? So, if you're ever at a train station and the platform has not been announced,
Okay.
which would then lead you to rush around,
Trying to figure out where your train is, yeah?
type in on Google real-time trains. You get the platforms upwards of 20 minutes before they're announced.
That is genuine good advice. That's life advice.
I told you. I wouldn't lie to you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Real time. I mean, obviously, after this comes out, the website will crash from all the millions. It's like the
Instant.
Oasis tickets. Like,
Straight away shut down.
yeah. So here's a little tip so that nobody gets the ick.
That's great. No, you not only did you pick a better ick, but you erased my ick. I've never seen. I think that's 2
I've
points.
really crushed you actually.
Yeah,
This
that's 2 points
was
for
really
comedians. I
embarrassing
think
for you,
right
actually.
there.
This was-
wow!
No, I'm joking.
How dare you? I don't want to play your Mario Kart game. You're going to destroy me. Use all the shortcuts.
No.
So, thank you so much for today. We found out so much. We're going to ask you to do plugs now in a second.
Yay.
Tell people things that are coming up, so you have time to think about it. I'll do my plugs. If you're watching this, this will be coming out probably in January, and I will be doing a show in the Glasgow International Comedy Festival on Sunday, the 30th of March, the last Sunday in March. You can find it out, and it's my new show, George Fox Sugar Daddy. So please get tickets for that and come along and see me. And if you'd like to come see comedy here at Monkey Brow Comedy, there's live shows every single night, and also I stream on twitch.tv/Fox Comedy every night of the week if you're just going from Monday to Thursday. So please check those out, and as always, obviously share the show, see the other episodes. Sam's wonderful episode, you'll be doing one that'll be coming out eventually as well with Sam. So what are your plugs that you'd like to tell people about?
Can I just say that was one of the smoothest plugs I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you.
That was so smooth. Face to the camera. I'm going on tour starting January the 21st. I'm coming to Monkey Barrel on February the 13th.
Cool.
Get you in the mood for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
It's some of the dates are close to selling out across the tour, especially in the south and then some Manchester and stuff. So do hurry up for tickets. And then later on, I may be going to the Fringe. TBC on AB.
TBC. But people can find you on social media, so they find
I'm
out
on
if you're doing...
I'm on the internet.
The internet
I'm
is
on the
great
web.
plug. Check out the internet. I'm on there, guys.
I'm on there.
Google real-time comedian and they'll
Real-time.
find exactly where you are before you've even
That's
announced
so
it.
funny.
Well, thank you everybody for watching the episode. Of course, big thank you to our guest, a big thank you to Claire, a big thank you to Ewan, and thank you from me.
guys.
And we'll see you again on next week's show. Bye-bye.
There's something hiding under the ice, imitation of a sound. There's something standing behind the door. Would you like